one beyond my wildest dreams. Maybe that one could have carried me to streets of gold. Things aren't always as they seem. Looking back on all the chances that I missed, some I held, some slipped away. One street over where my memories exist, I wonder what would change. I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded back to him to play. Thought my memories would end. One street over is now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from what I had today.
Oh, good morning, Robertson County and points beyond. This is 1100 WSGI. I'm Utah Laverne. This is one street over, and oh my goodness, kiddos. Ooh, you got today and 2 more days, and summer's over. And you know, we're really, I don't know, we're one of the last districts I think that are getting started. My grandson's already back in school. Seems like all my friends' kids are back in school. So, but we got out a little later. Let's see, we're going back late. We got out late. We're different from their fall breaks and all that kind of thing. So it's a little different world, but welcome to it. I'm kind of excited to get back into a daily schedule, because as I was telling, Terry Wilson's my guest from the Veteran Service Office. How are you doing, sir?
Doing fine, and yourself?
So I'm doing really well, and that's what we were talking about as we were kind of getting things ready to go, is all the things that we need to do and the benefit of a structure of a schedule. And that's something you're going to have to deal with here pretty soon, is figuring out keeping yourself motivated as you are facing retirement, as you are embracing retirement, maybe is the thing. I don't know. Are you excited about your retirement?
Yes and no.
Okay.
But it's going to give me, I think, some opportunity, because there's some research and stuff that I still want to do for the office and things I want to put together. And
Okay.
so there's still some things there, and maybe get back on to my genealogy stuff and continue working on it.
Well, see, and that's the thing. If retirement's not in the picture for me, I will work until I just can't work, and a lot of that is because I've been a broadcaster my entire career. There's not a whole lot of planning for retirement when you work in let's get real, broadcasting is just entertainment. It's like being an actor or something. I mean, it's so funny. I was at we did the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame inductions the other day, and they inducted Phil Valentine, and his bride was up there, Susan, and one of his most famous quotes, and I've used it many times, is broadcasters are just carnies with a dental plan. And truly. And so, it's just kind of funny, because we tend to be ones that just jump around jobs, and I had some stability, but what my point is, retirement's not something that I'm thinking, I'm going to retire at because of and then my husband, we were roofing contractors, so we just didn't. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're doing something weird, you do need to think about your retirement, because it'll eventually come if you want to retire. I don't necessarily like the idea of it. And truly, now, I mean, there's a part of me, as I'm seeing some of my friends retire, and I'm going, okay, I don't know what I would do with myself. I guess you find things to do.
Well, and I've already kind of laid the groundwork and stuff for myself. So
Yeah.
I kind of look at it not retiring. I'm just stepping back from so much mental
Yeah. Yeah.
because it does take a lot. It's our days it may not be physical, but it is mentally
Exhausting, yeah.
and sometimes it's very emotionally pulling too.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that's come about in the last 3 years is you start seeing the guys that your buddies that you've worked with, you've helped them, you know them, their family, and now those guys are gone. And so you start thinking about your own mortality, and it's like, gosh, I've been a workaholic all my life, and now it's like, now I'm not going to go from 90 to 0. I may go from 90 maybe to 80.
There you go. Well, and one thing too, my friend I tease about Lawrence Rainey is Paul Rainey. He's on here all the time. Now they're celebrating their 53rd anniversary. They're on a cruise and all those kinds of things. So we won't be hearing from them. But those are two people who are more busy now that they're retired than they were before they retired. He did like 41 years with fire department up in Nashville, and she was a teacher. She still teaches part-time. They volunteer all the time. They go with me to Mexico. They help me with Celebrate Recovery. They do Meals on Wheels. So they're and oh, bless his heart, Paul, he is because he's retired, everybody calls him when they need something fixed, And so truly, those are two that I know, and I've got a lot of retired friends. They really are busier now, or as busy as they were with their work.
Yeah.
I'm somebody though that I need very specific structure. So if I were to retire, I would still have to have things where I would be come in and do radio or something to get me into the day. Or I'm one of those, I'll be like, oh, I want to do this, and I get distracted. I got more done during spring break last year than I've gotten done all summer, it seems like, around my house. I wanted to get all these things done around my house and had all these projects. And I think I got more done during spring break because I had I was like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
This summer, it's been kind of a free-for-all because I had no idea what's going to come up next. And I just don't feel like I've gotten anything done.
Yeah.
So, but oh well. School's back in session Monday, kiddos. I say all that to say that.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Teachers are back on Friday. My husband is going to be in the classroom at Springfield High School. They're still trying to work out all those details. Oh, good heavens. My goodness. I don't know. You don't even want to get me started down that little rabbit trail. But it's been interesting. But nonetheless, we're excited. And anyway, so Terry Wilson, he is our Veteran Service Officer. We're talking about retirement because he is retiring at the end of the year. But you got some good folks. You got Gwen and Scott in there.
Got some excellent folks in there.
So as you retire out, will there be another position available?
We
or are you currently looking?
Well, we had been looking. We'd been taking applications, and we've actually, I think, have decided on one of the folks that we
wonderful.
And we interviewed face-to-face with them yesterday.
Okay.
And kind of run them through the ringer a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They have been a service officer in the past.
Okay.
And so it's someone that can maybe not hit the ground fully running, but in a couple of weeks, refresher and stuff, and I think they'll be right back at it. And since it's been less than a year since they was in an office, then we don't have to go through a long, drawn-out accreditation process.
Sure, like Gwen had to go do.
Yeah. Oh, Gwen got hit hard with a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, she did.
But she rose above. She excelled, overachieved.
Yes, for sure. That was one thing. She's like, well, I'm going to be gone for a week. I've got to do this. And I was like, oh, okay. But she's loving it. I mean, that was such a God thing. We still talk about her hiring process and what happened and just the way that all came together. Truly just a God thing on that. And we're so thankful. Now, getting on to what, we'll go down rabbit holes. We need to get to business. Let me just kind of, I tell you what, let's go ahead and let's take a break.
Yeah.
and I'm trying to do better about spacing out my breaks. I'll get to talking to somebody, and then all of a sudden it's like 30 minutes, and I've got 4 commercials I got to do. So let's go ahead and knock knock one of them out. We got great sponsors, and one of my favorites to talk about because I'm so excited that they're a part of my life, and that is Cumberland Connect. Are you with Cumberland Connect? What is your internet?
Right now it's Verizon, but I'm just cause I'm waiting on them to finish up out in our area.
Okay, so you're a Cumberland Electric customer.
We're supposed to be getting it this year, so
Okay. Well, you probably, do you think, so you must be on the end of town with Senator Kerry Roberts because he's kind of the same situation. Chad Gregory was in here from the Fair Board yesterday, and he's in the same area.
Yeah.
And that's their little cluster out there, and I guess you're probably in that same boat because they started with the underserved is where they started. And so that's how they're structuring how they're going to hook you up. But Cumberland Connect, if you are a Cumberland Electric customer, well, good news, you're going to have access to Cumberland Connect. And what does that mean for you? That means that you're going to have high-speed internet. You can go and join the gig club with the rest of us. Most people, when they go and look at this, a lot of them are paying, $60, $70, some over $100 for the internet, and you can get a gig for $80 with Cumberland Connect, and it works fantastic. I love it. My speeds were 3.5 upload. Now they're in the 5 and 600s. Now, a gig may sound like a lot to people. Yes, my children say it's like filling a bathtub with a fire hose. It's a lot, but hey, it's $80. Why not? So after coming out of kind of the arc ages with the dark ages with internet, it is an opportunity to get you into what you need to move ahead with all the technology we have now. It's replaced our phone lines. That's why Cumberland Connect is picking it up. Now, if $80 sounds like a lot, and maybe some people don't even have internet, well, because it's a utility. There is an affordable connectivity program that provides qualifying households with monthly credit to help pay for internet services. And if you're eligible, you may receive a credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband services. Easy to find out. Just give them a call. 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362, or go to cumberlandconnect.org, put in your zip code, and they'll give you all the particulars. And when I mentioned that $30 per month, they have services and packages that start at $30 per month. So if you qualify, you could have free internet. There you go. They'll take care of you at Cumberland Connect, part of the Cumberland Electric community. And when you get in touch with them, be sure and let them know that U-Turn sent you. And so excited to have you join the gig club, Terry. Hopefully before you leave, we can, because Gwen's in the gig club.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she's in the gig club.
I'm in the process of getting the post to join the gig club. So
Are you now? Very good.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
They have access up at the VFW or
at the Legion.
At the Legion Hall there in Greenbrier. I ran into my friend at Ace Hardware Al that worked there for many, many, many years, and he was asking me, I don't know how we got started talking about the veteran stuff, but I was able to give him y'all's number because he apparently hadn't been in forever, and he has hearing loss because of something blew out his eardrums whenever he served, and he's 90 years old, and I think that's about his age, but nonetheless, that blows my mind that somebody like him that hasn't gone in and checked this out, because there's no telling what he's missing out on that would help him, certainly with his hearing, and who knows what else. But he was asking something about whether if y'all were in Greenbrier, and I was like, nope. So I had to talk about where the new office was. And so I say all that to say there are still people out there that don't realize you're not in Greenbrier anymore, and they don't really know what to do. So let's say you ran into Al in Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
What would you tell him?
I'd tell him thank him for our freedom first.
Amen.
And because to me, thank you for your service is kind of cheesy. Thank you for our freedom, because if it wasn't for our veterans, who knows what language we'd be speaking.
Well,
and what kind of rule we would be under. So always think about that. But I'd ask him if he's ever checked into his VA benefits, and if not, what's been the holdup?
Yeah.
And the biggest majority of the time that most people's answer is, well, I knew there was guys that were missing pieces and parts, and I was trying to leave it for them. Well, it's there for you too.
Yeah.
It's, if you signed your name on the bottom line, doesn't matter if you were drafted or volunteered, that is something that can be there for you. Whether it's health care because low income or because you sustained an injury in service, or it could be low income and served during wartime. And, we may have to look at non-service connected pension. So there's a lot of different things there. And then for those of our veterans that are hard of hearing, have difficulty, there's actually a program through CapTel to where we can do the paperwork and they can get one of the phones that actually prints everything out on it.
Oh, cool.
So they can actually look at it, and the phone's nice because it'll come up, it'll show them which one of their doctors it is. So there's a lot of different things with it that can be done, and we usually, if we end up doing one, we'll do about 3 or 4 more. We don't do a lot, but it's something that's there for our veterans, and all we have to do as service officers, we can sign off saying, hey, this person does have a hearing disability and be able to get this. And the folks at CapTel do a wonderful job because I can do one right now, email it to them, and in about an hour and a half, I'm going to get one back telling me, Terry, we're on this, we're getting it taken care of.
That's amazing. And see, and what kills me too is he just didn't seem to, it doesn't seem like he's been in contact with y'all for some time. Another question I kind of wanted to ask him, but it didn't feel appropriate for me to ask him, but you could, is, he's getting older. Have you made arrangements to make sure that you can have the proper honors at, when you have a memorial for your family?
Yeah.
And you want, especially these older veterans, they don't realize there's paperwork that you can do now to make sure that that's done. It's one thing to tell your family, I would like to have military honors when I'm buried or when I pass. But if you've not done the paperwork, a lot of them don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And so that's one, I didn't feel comfortable saying, oh, by the way, have you done, but that is a conversation you can have with him. I think he's coming in this week because Wednesday, you're the open house day or whatever, walk-in day.
Yeah, walk-in Wednesday.
Walk-in Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, I told him that.
Cover us up Wednesday.
Do what?
Cover us up Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I told him, I said, I'm pretty sure, I said, Wednesday is your walk-in day. But I said, you can get an appointment. Now, they do work from home some, but I said, too, was telling him where to go because it's not in Greenbrier anymore.
No.
Got to cover that, too. So where is it?
Yeah. We are at 505 South Brown Street here in Springfield. That's the county office building. If you know where you pay your property taxes or where you're getting your car tags at, we are there. And we're right there on the first floor, easy to get to, easy access. You come in through the sliding doors where the county clerk's office is. When you come through those, turn left. Once you see the elevators and the main hallway there, go to the right. We're the first office on the left.
Okay.
Really hard to get to.
Right there.
We're right between
Right there.
the county clerk and the trustee's office. So, you can't beat that with a stick.
So
But
walk-in Wednesdays, do you stay pretty covered up?
we do.
Okay.
We do. There's some days, matter of fact, last Wednesday, I think I finally stepped out to go grab me about 1:30.
Oh, wow. It was that busy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I was solid from 8 until then.
Oh, wow. Bless. Okay.
And then from about 2 on, I was there also.
Okay. Well, what are the actual hours then?
Our hours are,
because Monday and Friday, if I'm not mistaken, those are, y'all work remotely.
yes.
You work from
Yes.
home. And you can get your questions answered. They're working. That's why Gwen is so important for her to have a gig of high-speed internet because she
Yep.
can do all of her work at home. So you can get on the phone with them. You can ask questions. You can make an appointment for Tuesday or Thursday. But if you just want to walk in like my friend,
Yeah.
you can just
Yeah.
walk in and talk to them. So what are the hours when you're in the office?
8 to 4:30
Okay.
is when we're in the office. We try to bring our if we're doing appointments, we try to bring our last one in by 3 o'clock, no later than 3:30. Because if we did a 4 o'clock, then we're going to probably be there till 5, 6 o'clock. And, I like not to try to keep everybody part of the evening and stuff because it does turn into some, we do some long days because I know we do research on our time. We do research on Mondays and Fridays. I research all the time.
You're just into it all the time. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. When we have a passion for something, it's just something will, perk something in your brain and you're like, oh, let me go look that up. And the next thing you know, you've gone down a rabbit hole for 2 hours looking up something for somebody you talked to last week. Is that
Yeah.
pretty much of a scenario?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of folks don't realize that once we start on it, it can take several years for us to be able to get a claim through. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not, a lot of these problems didn't happen overnight. If they did, you should have come saw us then.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're seeing folks that these problems have existed for many years. And so there's a lot of evidence that we have to build up on our side. If there's no proof there, we have to get to the point to where we can at least get it to reasonable doubt. And to where we may not be able to prove it, but VA can't disprove us. So that takes an awful lot because we have to come up with, look at every alternative theory. I mean, it's like we got to be part private investigator, part attorney, part paralegal,
Yeah.
part psychic,
Yeah.
and then tie a researcher into all of it. Just makes it hard. And one good example is a gentleman I've worked with since about 2015, 2016. We just now found, hopefully, and it's not the smoking gun, but as it is a shell casing that we know can link to the gun, that put their ship in blue water in the fall of 1974.
Oh, wow.
Now,
That kind of research that you need to do. Wow.
yeah, and it's taken 7 years to find that.
Wow.
For someone to finally do an accounting of where the ship was during that time period. Because there's a lot of things that the veteran has that could be related to the herbicide exposure. He was on ship. So now we're able to say, hey, the ship rescued this many refugees. They actually provided ground support. They were doing naval fire onto the land. So, I mean, there was things they was doing leading up to the fall of Saigon.
Wow.
So it's just it takes time to find this because a lot of times it has to be firsthand experience that someone finally decides to put that out into the public because there's no records there. It's like cruise books for their ships. The earliest cruise book I can find for his ship is like 85.
Wow.
Well, that doesn't help me. I need to go back another 10
My
years.
goodness.
So
Can I stop you for a second? You've used the term a couple of times, and I've never stopped you and asked you to explain it. Blue water, what are you talking about?
Okay.
What does that mean?
in 2019, the Blue Water Navy Act went into effect. And what that does is we finally reached a point to where those ships that were within 12 nautical miles of the coast of Vietnam, actually, we could say that those sailors were exposed,
Okay.
and or sailors, Marines. If they was on the ship and they was within that 12 nautical miles, then they fall under the presumption part of it.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that helps. That has helped us a lot with a lot of our veterans. But then the hardest part of that evidence is proving that ship.
Was
in
in
there.
blue water,
Yeah.
as in they were within that 12 nautical miles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And-
Okay. Because I've heard you mention that a few times and I didn't really understand it.
And
Okay.
so what we get into is being able to try to find either deck logs or ship logs to where we can try to put the ship there. The accounting of it that's out that most people can access is not even completely up to date.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's taking so long because all these deck logs have not been released. They're slowly coming out of the Naval Archives, but there's nothing we can do to speed that up.
Mm-hmm.
And even a request for those, we've got to try to get the time frame down. And still, with the deck log, I mean, you've got you could have 50 pages for one day.
Right. Oh, wow.
You could have 100.
A lot to go
you know.
through. So you do a little bit of research, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I tell folks it's on some of them. It's really easy to do 200 hours or more of research. So,
Incredible.
and I know when everyone comes in, we want to file this. We got to get in now. Got to get in now. Well, we can either do the right stuff on the front end,
Mm-hmm.
or when they get the denial, then we got to do it on the back end. And now, if we've used all the evidence we've had, we have to have new evidence to be able to reopen it.
Oh, okay. So if you jump the gun and you go in there and you present it
Yeah.
too early and you don't have all your ducks in a row and they turn it down, then before you can even have a chance at reopen it, you've got to compile a whole new. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's really truly almost starting over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It makes
Okay.
it really tough.
Okay.
Because we have to go back through all the records that the VA has. And when we go through their service treatment records, if the VA's got their personnel file, we go through everything page by page.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's 1,000 pages in there,
Oh
That's
my
a-
gosh.
that's 1,000 pages we have to go through. And
Oh my.
when you're going through that, and then what's tough is, we want people to call and to, keep us posted on things. But what we really need them to do is when they call in, need to tell somebody why they're calling, because 90% of the phone calls, Gwen can answer it while she's on the phone with them.
Oh wow. Yeah. See, and that's the thing. People
And-
want to talk to you, but they can talk to
Yeah.
everybody else.
Well, they'll go, well, I need to talk to Terry. He knows why I'm calling.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't. We've got almost 3,000 veterans that caseload that we're handling.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. And so that does, or I get an email. Hey, Terry, how you doing? I talked to you. Just checking on this, Bob. Hey, Bob, great to hear from you. Which one are you?
Oh my goodness. Oh my
So,
goodness.
Yeah, we get that.
Make an appointment, come in Tuesday and Thursday, and it'll be much more streamlined. And that way you can start, at least pointed in the right direction.
And if we know why someone's coming in or why they're calling, a lot of times we can look, or we may it may trigger something, and then we can just tell Gwen, and she's able to call them back and let them know. Because the more time we end up spending on the phone is less time that we have for the next veteran that it may be their first time into the office.
Oh wow.
Or we may be in the middle of pulling critical research. Well, once you pull off of that, it changes your mindset, because now your mind is on the last thing you talked about,
Mm-hmm.
and it does take a while to come back around into it. So that does get really hard. So as for trying to juggle the research and stuff, trying to make sure, but there's a reason why we've had the success we've had from our office is because of the things that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And, put the brakes on, slow it down. And, this stuff didn't happen yesterday. A lot of times it happened 20, 30 years ago or more. It takes time to be able to build that up and argue that to get to the point to where we can find a smoking gun or get to the point of reasonable doubt.
There you go. This is what it's all about, guys. If you have a veteran, just like, I ran into my friend that has not been talking to them at the Veteran Service Office, it's time for them to get in there and check this out and make sure that they've got their benefits completely up to date, end of life stuff that you need to take care of, all these things, because you're one of our honored veterans and we want to make sure you're honored completely and that your family is honored as well. We need to take a pause here. We're going to talk about Highland Rim Speedway. Well, I keep saying Highland Rim Speedway because I want to point you there, because if you want information about Veterans Motorplex, it's very important that you follow Highland Rim Speedway. I've said this many times. They kept the Highland Rim page because they had like 10,000 followers. Why would they mess with that? So when you go to Highland Rim Speedway, Veterans Motorplex the Veterans Motorplex will pop up, and there'll be a big eagle there. It says Jesus is Lord. Jerry's a big Jesus freak like all of us. We love him so much. And they got a lot going on, because here's the deal. Last weekend, they got rained out. And so they've moved the things that they had going on. What they've done is they've decided to reschedule the Jimmy, and I can't say this guy's last name. It's Liebengood. Do you know how to say that right there? What's that word? How do you say that? You see it?
Yeah.
I have no idea how to spell
Liebengood.
Liebengood. I'm not really sure at all how to say this man's name.
Liebengood.
Liebengood. I'll have to call Jerry and ask him about that, because I want to see if I can maybe get him on the phone or something, because they're having the Jimmy Liebengood 1,000 to win 85 lap Rumble on the Ridge for Down syndrome has been rescheduled for this Saturday. Okay, did you get that? That's a big deal, because this is a big fundraiser. A lot of fun. They have all kinds of things that go on along with that. But again, it's the Jimmy Liebengood 1,000 to win 85 lap Rumble on the Ridge for Down syndrome has been rescheduled for this Saturday. It is going to be a fun time. It's going to be a great time. Jimmy actually, they said, won the trophy himself. It's a special winner's trophy that they're going to present to the top 3 cars. His granddaughter, Casey, is going to be the queen for the trophy presentation. And it's so cute because Casey's mom, Renee, was the Miss Highland Rim, and at one time, and Casey's grandmother was the very first Miss Highland Rim Speedway ever.
Wow.
So you got all that kind of going on. So that's kind of a backstory happening with the little Casey that's going to be the trophy queen for the presentation. They've got just all kinds of fun stuff going on, and we'll get into this more in the days ahead just to kind of unpack it. But it's going to be a good time. When you go out to the races, guys, it's not just the races. They'll have things for the kids to do. They got a great concession stand. Cannot say enough about their concession stand. Great food, and it runs so well. If you've not been to the races in a while, you need to get out there. Of course, if you've got the back page of that Let's Talk Trash magazine, you can get in free, but this is not the weekend to get in free. This is the weekend to go spend your money and raise some money for Down syndrome. So this is the weekend to go help raise funds. This is the 1,000 to win 85 lap Rumble on the Ridge for Down syndrome, rescheduled this Saturday is the time to go. Go follow them on Highland Rim Speedway to find out all the things happening at Veterans Motorplex. The address is 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. You can call them at 615-643-8725, 615-643-8725. Always let them know you sent you. I know that took a little bit long to unpack, but there was a lot of information there. And again, we're going to try to get Jerry on to see if we can't talk to him a little bit about that. It's just so much fun. Have you been to the races lately? You need to go to the races.
Not lately. It's been a long since I've been.
Yeah, it's fun.
But where can you go? Family friendly.
Oh, yeah.
A good event. It's not costing you an arm and a leg to be able to go. To me, it's ideal thing for some family time. And who doesn't like the races?
Oh, I know. I didn't realize how much I loved it. And because I would go and we'd do our radio shtick, and I'd leave. And then I went and sat and actually watched a race, and I was like, this is awesome. It was so much fun because you got local, they had some teens out there racing, and that just blew my mind. It's a good time. Go to the races, y'all. Go to the races, and this is a good weekend to do it. So get out there.
It's going to be nice this weekend.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be really nice. So.
It's only supposed to be like, I think, in mid-upper 80s during the day. And if it starts cooling off a little bit at night, that's best time.
We're digging it. We're liking it. It will be fall before you know it, y'all. Time goes so fast. And before we know it, you'll be retiring. So what is coming up? What is coming up with Veterans Services right now?
Well,
As far as events, y'all going to have y'all do a fall turkey shoot, right?
yes.
Okay. So when does that start?
Yeah, fall turkey shoot will actually start. I'm trying to remember if it's the last Saturday in September or the first one in October.
Okay.
I'll tell you here in a minute.
But it will be, you figure, this is August, y'all. Okay, this is August. So when you come back in September, we will be right on top of it, right? It will be time for it. So.
Yeah, it's going to be September the 30th.
Yeah. Okay.
Will be the
September
first.
the 30th will be the first one.
Yes.
And then how many are you going to do?
We'll do
this
9.
fall? Oh, really?
The last one will be
Wow.
the Saturday after Thanksgiving. So after everybody gets filled up on turkey and they're tired of Black Friday and all of that, they can come out, get a little aromatherapy, take out,
I like that.
enjoy shooting some targets, helping support your local veterans, and being able to have a good time. It's Saturdays after Thanksgiving have really turned into a big family event.
Okay.
Best thing, tell folks, come early, because the lanes really start filling up pretty quick. And so what we've started last year is that when you come in, so if someone's there at 7, they're going to eat breakfast, and our auxiliary does a great breakfast and stuff each week. And so there's food there. We have sodas, coffee. We'll even have some unleaded coffee. We'll have it leaded and unleaded.
Why would you bother? I mean, why would you bother with uncaffeinated coffee? I'm just like, in the morning. Now, in the evenings, I get it. But in the morning, why would you even bother? But anyway, that's
Yeah, well, it's all depends on how someone's medical is.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. So I'm being silly. But,
to me, it's like unleaded Coke.
There you go. You
I
gotta have that
the
caffeine. So tell me this: we've got the fall turkey shoots coming up. Going to start up at the end of September. 9 weeks of this. It is you. I don't quite understand the fact that you have to bring guns that you can use, because what is the specifics on the weapon? Because you can't just bring in any gun. You can't come up there with a pistol and go.
Yeah.
It's what is the particulars?
Okay.
Because anytime you're competing for something, you want everybody on the same
as close as possible.
Same
and so
advantage. I suppose.
410s, 12 gauge, 20 gauge, and 16 gauge. So we do try to keep ammo for every one of those, and then to top it off, we provide the ammo, so that way we know the ammo is consistent with the same load, pellet count, so that way everybody's shooting the exact same thing. So then it comes down to luck, how well you're shooting. We do gauge the weapons. They have to be stock guns, cannot be sleeved, cannot be custom barrels, because we want this to be as balanced across the board for everyone as possible. That's the only way you can have a family-friendly, fun event. And the proceeds from this, they go in to help all of our veterans programs that we do. And so we do Boys State, Girls State. Now, with the increase in cost on that, costs us right at about $2,000 to send 2 boys and 2 girls for Boys and Girls State each year. And that is probably one of the best programs that I know of that the Legion does. We also have Oratorical that we're looking at getting into, sponsoring someone from our post to compete at district. Because once they compete at district, and if they win there, they go to state, they win, they go to national. Last year, I think the national winner ended up with about $25,000, $30,000 in scholarship money.
Wow.
So And that's just being able to give a 3-minute talk on on a subject that's given to you. Typically, they're going to be on the Constitution. So, looking at those things, and those are, to me, it's great competition, and especially for those that really like to prepare and be able to speak and don't have a problem speaking in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you do, it's a great experience. The judges, when they do this, are mixed within everyone else that's sitting there watching, so you don't know who the judges are.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Judges can't sit side by side. They have to be spread out throughout. And so that way they have a different perspective on it. And I have judged on district competitions, and what they do is you will have a topic that you will actually be able to prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know that there will be 4 topics, and you get it right before you walk in to do your second one.
That's called impromptu speaking. I did that in FFA.
Yeah. And you know it's going to be one of, I think
Yeah.
it's one of
You
4.
have some general idea of what it's
Yeah.
going to be, but yeah.
Yeah. You're not going to know exactly what it is until you're standing at the door waiting to go in for your turn
Yeah.
on the second round.
So let me pause you for a second. Okay, so when does this happen, and how can kids get involved in this? I don't know. You may have unpacked
Yeah.
that, and it just
Yeah.
and it went over my head.
It's
But-
new that it's something that the Legion has done for years. It's something new that we're looking at starting this year, but it's in January.
Okay.
Is when we'll start looking
Okay,
at
so
that.
this is something because of the funds and things. That's how we got
Yeah.
here. Because I try. Sometimes you do the same things like me. We go down trails. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm not quite following you. So
And-
the money that you're going to raise from the turkey shoot, you're hoping to help get this going.
Yes.
And this would be new to this area.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm with you. I
So-
lost you there. I got lost for a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you bring this, is this something that I can point some of my students at Greenbrier to? I mean, what are the ages? Do you know much about that? The specifics?
I've got to go back and relook at the ages.
Okay.
I think it's
Because I'm curious about this. This is it sounds like a great
think-
program.
sophomores and juniors.
Okay.
I may be wrong on that, but I will get to all the particulars. Matter of fact, what I may do is just get one of the books,
Okay.
rhetorical books, and send that to you.
Do that
And get
because
that for you.
I'm real interested in this because that part where you talked about how what was that scholarship you said they got?
I think it was like 25, 30,000.
Crazy. That's a
once
lot
they
of money.
once they went to national,
Yeah.
and if they win, which is to me this was really great because then they get to go to the national convention.
Yeah. And it's just such good experience for them.
Yeah.
I did this kind of stuff through FFA. Now, we didn't have scholarships that were awarded. I don't know that maybe they did and I didn't get there, but I got to go to state, and that's as far as I went.
Yeah.
But it's great experience.
Yeah.
Great experience for the kiddos. And like you said, in the long run, you can win some great scholarships too.
And Boys State and Girls State are for juniors.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're looking at the juniors, because they'll go, typically it's right at the end of May.
Okay.
And so anyone that's going to put in for that to be interviewed for it, for the selection process for Boys State and Girls State, really have to make the commitment to go to it. We had 2 girls this year, and right at the last minute, both of them pulled back out.
So is this oratory thing, has anything to do with Boys and Girls State, or is it
It
just
does
in the-
not. It's
Okay.
actually 2 different programs.
Okay. So we're talking also then, so we've got the oratory program that you're wanting to get started, but you also have a Boys and Girls State program
Yeah.
that's been ongoing,
Yeah.
and identifying the kids. When you're looking for participants, one of my boys went to Boys State. And so when you're looking for participants for Boys and Girls State, do you look the entire district or one specific school? Is it a teacher that says, hey, I've got kiddos that are interested in that? How does that process
We
work?
have historically worked with Greenbrier High,
Okay.
and we've also done a little bit with homeschool.
Okay.
And we actually had a young lady search us out that was homeschool that wanted to go, and she ended up being year before last. She was actually one of our candidates,
Oh, wow.
and she went. Was really looking forward to the experience. Her parents thought that they should just wanted to get the sponsorship so that they was going to pay for her to go, and we covered that.
Oh, good.
We,
Okay.
we covered the registration fees and all.
That's the reason why we need to raise money, y'all. That's the
Yeah.
thing. These are just some of the things that are going on.
And then one of the other things we do is, of course, we do food boxes at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And cost of food goes up, which means our cost
Oh,
goes
yeah.
up. And I tell you, Tim Holt does a wonderful job there at Holt's in Ridgetop. Tim has always worked with us and
right.
trying to keep the cost down. We've had to adjust on some of the boxes. But I know there's things that he does that I know he takes a loss on. But still, he tries to put together the best box that he can for us to take out. And here, the last several years, we've been doing anywhere from 50 to 75 food boxes.
Oh, wow. And you're talking about the grocery store there in Ridgetop, Holt.
Yeah,
That's something I didn't realize that was still family owned.
yeah,
Really? I need to get them in.
yeah.
I need to talk to them. Because that's something, we drive past it all the time. And I've been in there. I've done some shopping there. It's not real
Yeah.
convenient for me, so it's not one of my
Yeah.
frequent stops. But that's awesome that it's still
Yeah.
a family owned. We had Monroe's back home, the old family grocery
Yeah.
that was ran by the family for
Yeah.
years and years.
And if
And-
this is, it's a hometown place,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
Holt's
it is.
hometown.
I love going in there
And
because
if
it's
you-
very much a hometown grocery.
And
Yeah.
they will get to know you. They'll learn your name. They'll speak
Yeah.
to you every time you come in. It's like Cheers, but without being able to sit at the bar, where
It is a
everybody
great
knows your
store.
name.
It is a great store. And when you mentioned that, I just hadn't, because they're right there on the edge of the county. But that would be, I just never dreamed they were still family owned because you just don't see too many markets that are family owned now.
Yeah.
They usually get either priced out of business or, that's very similar to what we had with Monroe's. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
And
Oh man, I gotta whoever, if you know those folks, I need some phone numbers. I need to call them. We need to talk to them about how long that's been around because that's been around a long time. I'm going down a rabbit hole now.
I might be able to fix you over the phone.
Okay, well, good. Good. I tell you what, let's pause for a second. Talking with Terry Wilson, all things Veteran Service Office, and just all the things you need to know. If you've got a veteran in your family, you need to be talking to them and making sure that they've contacted the Veteran Service Office. If you missed the first part of the show, I ran into a veteran that I know very well this week who hasn't been in touch with him in years. Doesn't need some stuff with his hearing aids, all kinds of things. And you just assume people know to call them. If you've got veterans in your life, ask them. Make sure, especially if they were exposed to anything that might have some benefit for them. Maybe they've got some health issues. It's a different world for veterans and they're taking better care of them. So we got to get them there and get them into the services that they need. Let's talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. I've had a lot of different folks come in promoting community events lately, and it seems like every time I talk about it, they mention, oh, well, Barry and Rebecca will be there. Oh, yeah, Barry and Rebecca, they're a sponsor. Oh, yeah, Barry and Rebecca, they're involved in the community. They're part of the community. They're up in Cross Plains, been there 27 plus years, and they are just such a part of us that if you want somebody for certain that specializes in Robertson County properties, give them a call. But now they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. When I first heard they sold across Kentucky state line, that kind of surprised me at first because there's things you need to know. They have an income tax in Kentucky. What does that do if you work in Tennessee but you live in Kentucky? They can help you with those. Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, so she's always studying, answering those questions for you. So when you come to the real estate table, you got a marketer in Barry. He came out of a marketing background. You've got somebody like Rebecca Rebecca spent this long time studying all the time. She actually came out of a radiology background. She's a smart cookie. But a great team, and they would love to help you with all of your real estate needs when you come to the table. You can contact them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or BUY at robertsoncounty.com, or best thing, just give Becky a call. Her phone number, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Tell them you turned sent you. All right, Mr. Terry Wilson, what else do we need to talk about? We've kind of been all over the place, but I mean, we tend to do, but we've covered a lot of important information.
This time of year for our organizations, things start getting a little bit sporadic and stuff.
Right.
But it's that time of year. And we are an older group, so we don't handle some of the things.
Who are you calling up?
well. I didn't say old. I said we're the older group.
Yes.
Yeah, more experience.
There you go. I like that. Put it that way. We're
I
experienced.
got a lot of experience here.
For sure.
But I know we have Veterans Day coming up in November. That's always a big thing for us. And I believe we're going to be doing an unveiling of the Blue Star family marker. That's going to be on Veterans Day. I've worked with.
Where is that marker?
That marker will be at Springfield Memorial.
I knew, but I wanted you to tell me.
Yeah.
It's like, what's he talking about?
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep you on the track here.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well,
So the what is the family marker? Explain that.
yeah,
Can you explain
Blue
that for us?
Star is for family that has family members that's deployed.
Okay. Very good.
And a lot of people associate that because they remember that from World War II, families having a blue star put up in their window or something like that. But that still holds true all the way through. It's not just for World War II.
Yeah.
It's for all of our
Well,
veterans.
see, I didn't know about that. If I had known about that when my son was deployed, I'd have had a Blue Star flag.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, because I mean that's one thing, man. When it's one thing to have your have your loved ones in service, but man, when they get deployed, it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just you just give it to God. You give it to God and you trust, but it's nerve wracking. It is nerve wracking until they get home. I mean, it's just in anyway. So I love that. I did not know there was a Blue Star
And
for deployment.
there's many things
That's
to this
cool.
day that I'd never told my mother.
Yeah,
which is good.
Oh yeah, my son too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just some things just better not talked about.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I
Because you
get
worry
that.
enough as it is.
Well, and he's out now, and so he'll talk. I mean, I'm finding so many veterans just don't want to talk about experiences that they have because it's hard.
Yeah.
And so, there is that. But the families need that support. And so I love that. I did not realize that because, I mean, Gold Star, most people know that's when you have lost somebody. And so if you have somebody that is a Gold Star or something or another, give them honor because their loved ones paid the ultimate price for your freedom. And but the Blue Star is when they're deployed. I did not know that. Very cool. And so that is set to be unveiled
On
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
Tentatively. It's not
Yeah.
confirmed from the sound of your voice,
Yeah.
but you think.
yeah, that's when it's supposed to be. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
me and Joyce Gentry had talked about.
Okay.
And because the Legion and the VFW were big supporters of being able to get that here. And Joyce is very interested in trying to get a Gold Star family organization started in Robertson County.
Right.
I mean, we already have a place where we can do the meeting.
Right.
So we have that. And she has keys to the building. So
There you go. Well, see, I thought they already had a group here. I mean, I know that there are Gold Star members, but they just are not organized into a
yeah, they're not a group here. There's not a group here. It's in Nashville.
Okay. Okay.
And I think Nashville, Murfreesboro is where that chapter is.
Okay.
But she wants to really see about getting one started here in Robertson County.
Okay.
So that way we have places for all of those to come to, because not everybody likes driving to Nashville
I can't stand to go to Nashville anymore, but and
you
I
just-
spent plenty of time there. But ooh,
well, just give me a good horse whipping.
Joyce is chiming in. We love you, sister. She says the Blue Star marker will be unveiled November 11th at noon. So there you go.
Thank you, Joyce.
Clarification on it. Thank you, darling.
Thank you for
And,
tuning in.
Yes, very much. So talking to Terry Wilson, my cousin, I say,
Yeah.
not really. I'm a Wilson too, but
Hey,
it's so fun.
we're just cousins by another mother.
There you go. But talking with him, he's a veteran service officer, senior veteran service officer right now, going to be retiring, but they're going to keep the office going. They got some great folks there. We definitely need to get Scott in here again. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Gwen said apparently
Go
he
ahead.
doesn't like to come in. Does he?
As he told me, he goes, I'm not a real public speaker. He goes, I just,
We
what I
just
got to do.
talk.
that's
We're
it."
not. You just talking about public speaking. We're just chatting.
Yeah.
We're just chit chatting.
And
So-
I think he kind of got into it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
time.
he's gonna have to. Once you
Yeah.
retire out, man, we're gonna. Gwen can come in
Yeah.
here all the time, but
Yeah.
Scott's
Scott's gonna have to come in too.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we're going to pause for a second. I'm going to do our last break, and we'll come back and wrap it up with Terry Wilson. So glad to see that you made time for me this month. You've been sending Gwen, so nice that you made time for us today, brother. But let's hop over to Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. If you don't know the Corbins, you need to go get to know the Corbins. They're just wonderful. Love Amy and Miss Jane. It was so funny. Amy put up, I don't guess it was on, I don't think it's on actual Facebook, but she was talking about, Miss Jane, I don't know how old she is, but good land, I want to be like her when I get her age. She's a retired teacher. She just does everything. So Amy put up, what's for dinner? Chicken salad and okra and all these fresh vegetables and all this stuff that her mother had made, some beans. And she's making it while she's canning and freezing stuff that's coming out of the garden. So this woman is superhuman, is just amazing. But that's the kind of people that run Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening. Amy, of course, is the boss out there, but she'd probably tell you Miss Jane is. But it's so much fun to go out there and talk to them about all the fun things that they have going on. They've got produce. That's why they're canning and putting things up and enjoying that fresh produce on their supper table, is because their garden is coming in abundantly right now. Every time I go out there, I can't really catch Amy because she's busy in the garden picking vegetables. You'll find the bounty from their produce that you can just walk in the store there. You can walk in the office and you'll find the floor just covered with produce a lot of days. They'll have it at the farmer's market. They're always at the farmer's market on Saturday morning. And if you want to just stop by, they're open summer hours, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5 and 1 to 4 on Sunday. They have got, of course, some deals right now on their annuals and their hanging baskets because we're coming into the end of the season. They will have mums this year. Last year, they didn't get the mums done because Miss Jane was under the weather at the time when they needed to get those started. They will have mums this year. Amy's thinking probably mid-September is when they will be your mum headquarters. So you want to go by and see them. Great friends. That's where I get all my CBD products as well. I'm really kind of lusting after some of these beautiful hydrangeas they have. And something like a hydrangea, that's a perennial. That will come back. So you can go and get something like a hydrangea, enjoy it this year and enjoy it next year as well. So go get you some deals on some annuals and some hanging baskets, but check out those perennials too, because those come back and back and back, and you can never go wrong with those. Go and talk to them. They're at 4920 Highway 161 here in Springfield, or you can give them a call at 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185. Let them know you can send you. All right, final thoughts, my friend.
Well, real quick, I know a lot of people have been calling the office asking about the PAC Act that was signed in last August, so the PAC Act of 2022, and talking about looming deadlines and stuff. Yes, there's multiple different deadlines on it as for our veterans on health care, things of that nature. The claim part of it, all we have to do is we don't have to file the claim by August the 9th. We just have to have an intent to file on record by August the 9th. So that locks in for us to be able to go ahead and file the claim at a later date with the possibility of it going all the way back to August of 22. So a lot of folks are panicking over that. Don't panic. All we have to do is get an intent in. It's very easy to do.
Okay.
And a lot of times, if they've worked with our office, all they got to do is call us. We can put it in. They don't even have to come in and sign it.
So is this going to hurt people who are not aware of their benefits? And if they don't get something filed by this date, are they not going to have the option to? Is it going to shut them down?
No, it's not. It's
Okay.
just Because then what we're looking at is, if it's a claim that's been ongoing and there hasn't been a break in it, it's going to go back to the date of claim. So
Okay.
let's say we've got a claim that's been active since 2019 and there's no break in it. And now we finally get to the point to where we have fought it back and forth, and now we can get it approved.
Okay.
And it's going to go back to that time frame.
You need to get your veterans to the Veteran Service Office, guys.
Yeah,
You need to
they-
get in there and find out what's going on.
Phone number, grab your pen and paper. I'll get that for you here
Do
in
it
just
twice.
a second. And our address is 505 South Brown Street here in Springfield. We're at the county office building. For those that are native Robertson Countyans, that's the old Jesse Holmes Hospital up on the hill. Courthouse is on one hill. We're on the other.
Very good.
So phone number 615-382-6506. That's 615-382-6506. And when you call in, please let them know why you're calling.
Yeah.
And that way we can get an answer for you more quickly. And that way we can get that done and you're not having to wait on a call back. So that way we can do those things.
Yeah, all the information you can give them expedites everything. Terry Wilson, Veteran Service Office. You got Gwen and Scott in there as well. Reach out to them. That today is Walk-In Wednesday, so that will be a good day to go in there and just cover them up. Cover them up, and we'll look forward to talking to you about more stuff coming up as well. But just stay tuned. We've got Lee Marie coming up with The Go Show next, and this is 1100 at WSGI. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Stand by.